Hacksaw Ridge, a World War II story directed by... Uh-oh. Yeah, well, just think about this. If this movie was made about a decade ago, it could probably have a very different outlook on the war. Well, at least this one, unlike Gibson's other war movies, won't be all about how the Brits really suck. You know what? Forget forgiving the Brits. Have we really forgiven this Aussie? Something tells me that not everyone in Hollywood has. Now, that's not to say that Hacksaw Ridge doesn't have some big name talent, but it seems that Gibson called in some national favors because there are a lot of Aussies in this. Australia's Luke Bracey, Teresa Palmer, and Hugo Weaving round out and support this cast, and Gibson even seemingly ran out of Aussies to bring in because he even brought in his own son, Milo. Okay. Forget about politics, because that's certainly what the movie tries to get us to do. I do have to preface how little I typically enjoy war films, and that's simply because when I watch dark subject matter, which I love, I prefer it to be fictional. I don't really like to be reminded of the uselessness of war or the tragic loss of human life. I much prefer my wars to be of the star variety. But Hacksaw Ridge is one of the only war films I've seen that doesn't celebrate the heroism through the glorification of violence. This man is an objector, he's a pacifist, and he's a man who never takes life, but he actually saves it. And as mentioned earlier, he doesn't even really see politics. The war for him wasn't really about good versus evil or US versus Japan. It was about life versus death. But that's something in my rather limited war film experience that I really haven't seen before. It's an inspirational story about celebrating life, not a moral about mourning those who have passed away. That's not to say that Gibson, in typical Riggsian fashion, didn't create some bloody and visceral war sequences. If you've seen Braveheart, you know exactly what he's capable of. But these war sequences were shot in a very particular, stylized, and poignant manner. And it's not even the majority of the film, which again is rare. A war movie where the important struggle isn't the war. Andrew Garfield does well as Desmond Doss, the main character, to hold the film together. And trust me, there are so many subplots within this film that is no easy task. Before we even get to the Battle of Hacksaw Ridge in the third act, Desmond really has to go through a lot. His father, Tom, played by Hugo Weaving, is a World War I veteran who suffers from PTSD. And to say that the father-son relationship is tense is a little bit of an understatement. Weaving's character really wants to teach his sons about the power of war. And Garfield wanted to teach his father that with that power comes great responsibility. My favorite part of the story was actually Doss's military training, and you can imagine that a pacifist in a World War world isn't exactly the best fit. And all his supervising officers and the men he has to train with don't exactly understand or support his way of thinking. My favorite performance actually came from that section of the film and came from, surprisingly, Vince Vaughn. Okay, not too surprisingly, as Vaughn started his early career in a lot of dark thrillers. But his Drill Sergeant Howell actually has a lot of wit to the character only Vaughn could bring. It is a dramatic role, but it is very funny and breathes a lot of life into the film as well. Breathe life, zombie, seamless segue. Yep, that's right. Warm Bodies' Teresa Palmer plays Garfield's supportive better half. And while I really enjoyed her performance in that Zom rom-com, in Hacksaw Ridge I felt like she was overacting almost all the time. Maybe because in her last big film all she had to do was act with zombies and Dave Franco. Guess in this one she had to kind of up her game. While Palmer's performance wasn't exactly inspirational, the story certainly was. It is a fantastic cinematic legend about heroism, about a man sticking to his beliefs in the face of unimaginable horror. And believe it or not, it's actually a war movie that I would watch again, and that says a lot. Let's just not forget what this director said and did, okay? Hacksaw Ridge was actually another pleasant surprise, so in personal preference, it ranks number 4. But considering it probably won't win anything come Oscar night, especially Gibson, he really won't win Best Director, I have to rank it 8th in terms of likeliness to win Best Picture. If you've seen Hacksaw Ridge, let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below. But until next time, school's out. Hey Real Students, I hope you enjoyed that review on one of the Best Picture nominated films this year. If you enjoyed that one, click the playlist so that you can see all 9 reviews I did on all 9 nominated films. As always, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Real School. You can also click that notification bell, that damn bell, so that you are aware of all of Real School's content. You won't miss out on any of the Best Picture nominated reviews. You won't miss out on any of the new content that's coming up throughout the year. You can also follow me on Twitter, and you want to do that because live on Oscar night, Sunday, February 26th, I will be live tweeting. So join me for what I like to call intellect, wit, and a lot of sarcasm. And of course, if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link above me or below in the description, and you can become part of my Patreon team.